Hey guys, how's it going? It's Taylor from K-Way back again. K-Way, of course, a radio station in Waverly. That's where I work. You can hear my work if you listen around noontime. You can hear a news broadcast that I do every weekday. You can also listen in on Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Do Sports Spotlight. That's my sports show where we talk with some people making sports news in the area every Saturday morning. Very fun show. Love doing that. You can also hear me calling some play-by-play of some games, although I haven't had one in a while. You gotta wait till the spring sports get going again for high school before you can hear me again doing that. But it won't be too long now. And I've literally just realized that my video from last Friday, which was supposed to be on local sports, was actually sort of a national topic. So I ducked that up. So today we will do, kind of a localized, talk about local sports a little bit. We're going to talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes, actually. And specifically, here's my take. Iowa football is in a better position than Iowa basketball is. Now, people maybe at first glance would say, football's not, they didn't live up to the hype, although the hype was stupid. The hype was stupid coming into the football season, and the fact that they didn't win a conference championship and got blown out in a bowl hurt that a lot. But most of that hype was built off of national guys who saw that Iowa didn't lose during the regular season the year before, and so put all that sort of that hype, and of course Iowa fans, they're famous for backing their guys as much as possible, and every little word if it's good for Iowa, they're going to grasp onto it and try to project that onto their team. So, Iowa football has sort of got a bad rap, but Iowa basketball is sort of, at first glance, you might say is in a better spot, but I don't see it. I do not think so. Now, here's my argument. Iowa football has a great coach and Ferentz, and people get bored easily. People are bored with LeBron James. You want to know why LeBron James doesn't win the MVP every single season? Because people are literally bored with voting for him, and he puts up ridiculous numbers, and people think to themselves, well, it's LeBron. He should be doing that. Let alone, not thinking about the fact that nobody else is touching those numbers. They think, well, it's LeBron James, so I can't vote for him for MVP because those are the numbers he's put up before, even though they're insane. And so you've got Kirk Ferentz, who is a great college football coach, and people want to fire him because he loses a game or two, and that, of course, also it's a lot of, because that Kirk Ferentz has had so much success at Iowa, people just expect him to, without thinking about it, win 11 games a year, which is just dumb. And here's another fact, and Iowa fans, you may not enjoy this if you don't subscribe to it, but it's just true. There's no combating it. Iowa is an incredibly tough place to recruit. 5-star guys, unless they live in Iowa and are Iowa fans from birth, they don't want to come to Iowa to play their football. Now, if you're a 2-star kid, maybe a 3-star kid, and Iowa picks you, you should take that, if they recruit you, you should take that immediately. Here's why. They're probably going to turn you into an NFL guy when no other program's turning you into an NFL guy. And that's something insane also that Kirk Ferentz and his staff are able to do that nobody else does. And they take the kids that nobody else wants and they turn them into NFL guys. And every single year, they're challenging for a conference championship. While this past season probably felt maybe subpar, they still, in actuality, were challenging for a spot in the not the national championship game. They're not quite that good. In the Big Ten championship game. They were very close. In fact, in the final ranking or final standings in the Big Ten West. So football competes for championships every single year. They just do. Now, on the other hand, basketball hasn't been close to a championship. Hasn't been close to a championship in quite some time. And you might say, yeah, but the team this year is very, very young, and they are. They've finished probably exactly where they belong to be. This year, no doubt, a success for Iowa basketball. They got a 1 seed in the NIT. Honestly, at the start of the season, most people probably weren't sure that was even a possibility. So they've done great. Absolutely a successful season. Nearly got a poor team into the NCAA tournament, and poor for the simple fact that they are very young. And in the next couple of years, they've got a chance to be contenders for a Big Ten championship in a couple years down the road, if all those guys stick around. Now here's my thing. I like Coach McCaffrey. I think he's a very good coach. I think he certainly knows what he's doing. There's no way that he should leave within the next 6 or 7 years. I think he's a great coach. But he does certainly have flaws. He struggles to get his team up for certain games. He plays down to competition, especially early on. Just take a look at the Omaha game. And that's not just Ferentz. There's lots of coaches that struggle in those situations. He also struggles coming out of the halftime. Go back and look at the games ever since McCaffrey got here. Coming out of halftime, Iowa is very, very slow. If they've got a lead at halftime, that lead very often, almost always, shrinks in the first 5 minutes or so out of halftime. If they're trying to come back, if they're down at halftime, that lead generally grows in the first 5 minutes after halftime, and that's a very, very important part of the game. And here's the other thing. You can easily say Ferentz is terrible in bowls, or at least has been in the last few years, terrible in bowls. Iowa gets blown out. You can't argue it. That's absolutely true. Ferentz and his team have been terrible in the last few bowls. But you can also say that Coach McCaffrey has been just as bad, if not worse, in the Big Ten Conference tournament. There's no arguing that. He's been awful. Been absolutely awful. And here's the thing that separates the two. The bowl game is it's an exhibition game. Unless they're one of the Final Four, unless they're in the tournament, at the end of the season to try to win a national championship, the bowl game is it's a game that doesn't matter. It might as well be the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares about that game. Nobody cares about that game. They shouldn't anyway. It means absolutely nothing. Now here's the thing. In the Big Ten Conference tournament for basketball, that matters, especially when you've got a team that's on the cusp, on the bubble. They need to win games to get in. If you are terrible in those situations, that clutch factor kind of comes in at this point. If you can't get it done, that's not good. You're not good. And in that situation, McCaffrey's been incredibly, incredibly poor. Now, you might say he's got some really good talent coming in. He's recruited really, really well. Iowa's going to take a step up. Maybe. He's got 3 very, very good recruits coming in. 2 are his sons. So does he get credit for those recruits? They're his sons. They're fantastic. They're certainly going to help Iowa basketball. I hope he's around so that they come to Iowa basketball. Joe Wieskamp, the other guy, it should be fantastic. He's from Muscatine. He'll be here in a couple of years. I think he's going to be great. You can mark that one down as a win for McCaffrey. But I don't think his recruiting has actually been all that great. I mean, Tyler Cook was a very good get. Now, he's still fairly raw. He could be fantastic. And then, you sort of fell into a couple other guys who turned out to be decent. I don't think McCaffrey's very good. And so, the fact, I think we're going to end up being, I think who we are is a sort of the middle of the pack, but the top of the middle of the pack, if you will, who can every now and then maybe pop up and challenge for a Big Ten championship. Football, we're challenging for a Big Ten championship every single year, and Ferentz has developed a pipeline where he brings in kids that maybe aren't aren't highly recruited, yeah, and turns them into pros and turns his teams into competitors, championship competitors. So does he have a step that he can still take up? Absolutely, without a doubt. But McCaffrey's step, much larger, and I don't see that happening. If you disagree with me, let me know what your argument is. You can either do that on Twitter, find me at Taylor from Kway, or on Facebook at Taylor Knits, or right here on YouTube, right here where you're watching this video, Taylor Knits. That's going to just about do it. It's a long video. I apologize, guys. But I feel fiery about that one. All right, that will just about do it. And until next time, I am Taylor from Kway.